It's time to talk sports. It's Hacksaw's Headlines, a panorama of the world of sports, stories, comments, and opinions. Now, here's iconic sports talk show host Lee Hacksaw Hamilton and co-host John Riley.
Who wants to talk sports on a Thursday? We do, you do. From the DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Center Studios in San Diego, heading towards a great sports weekend, we welcome you to our Thursday podcast. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, along with my co-host from left field with his opinions, John Riley. We welcome you as we welcome in the opening weekend of the National Football League season. We're going to go a lot of different directions on this podcast today. This podcast is always brought to you by the great people at DIXIELINE Lumber. You got projects, they've got materials. You need ideas, they can be your best friend and your consultant. Build it, fix it. We guarantee you will like it. Go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things they have to offer. Aren't you lucky? It's the opening weekend of the NFL season, and I decided to do something nice for you. Instead of making you make your NFL picks from out in the driveway, I brought you inside in the studio because it's 103 degrees outside. Are you ready for some football?
I am, and this is going to be fun to kind of get back up to speed on all these different teams.
Yeah, we're going to go a lot of different directions, and then just a couple business notes. When we're done, because we put a lot of topics on the table, because we do sports talk the way it should be done, when we're done, your turn to come co-host with us at the table here at the Castle. We want you to join us. It's called Fans Forum, and we're looking for NFL fans and baseball fans to just overwhelm us today with questions, comments, and opinion. John, how does Fans Forum work?
This is the way it works, is you go on the live chat. You know, we're live streaming on YouTube, on X, on Facebook, and just go there, make a comment online, type it in. We'll see it on our screen. We'll get you involved in Fans Forum.
Also want to remind you, if you love sports, you need to check my website. You won't believe what's on my website today. It's a breakdown of all things in the National Football League. Just go to LeeHacksawHamilton.com. I write on it every day, but today is a really important day. Got to read my one man's opinion column that I wrote. You can access that right off the homepage. Website, baby, LeeHacksawHamilton.com. Follow us on social media. You can just type in my name, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, hit the follow button, get ready to participate in all the mini polls, because I do ask a lot of questions nightly on my mini polls on social media. I want you to be part of the Twitter All-Star team. Join my Hacksaw's Insiders group, put you on the email list, register for that on the homepage of my website. Want you to share. Tell everybody what these two loudmouths do Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. Subscribe. When you subscribe on the YouTube channel, you will get the alerts. Ding, 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 ding. Every time we put additional videos up on the YouTube channel, and between he and I, we probably put 7 to 10 additional videos up in addition to the podcast. So subscribe so you will get the alerts there. We're going a lot of different directions. What an unbelievably great day it is in sports, because it's the opening night of the NFL season. It's the opening weekend of the NFL football season. I'm ready for football.
Are you ready for some football? Yeah, I mean, that was like the Monday Night Football theme there for a while.
A long time.
Yeah. So we're going to go division by division?
Yes, we are, and we're going to break it down. I'll tell you my opinions. Him from left field will give you some of his, and then somewhere at the end of this podcast, you're going to give us yours. You got to join us in Fans Forum. Looking for first-timers, looking for football fans, and we will touch some hot topics, too, in Major League Baseball. John, I'm ready. Are you?
I'm ready. And, you know, it always starts with the AFC East, so here we go.
Let's talk the way they're going to finish. I got the Buffalo Bills winning the division, maybe winning by default. They got Josh Allen. They got James Cook. It will be interesting to see, because they've really tried to upgrade their wide receiver group, bringing in the ex-Charger, Josh Palmer, who I like, bringing in Elijah Moore, who came from Carolina, and they've got some young receivers there. Only burning question I have about Buffalo, they just don't have an elite defense anymore. Not under Sean McDermott. They've had a lot of Pro Bowlers, have played great defense, but more recently, not the same. But they win this division by default, because look what else is in the division. You got New England. Mike Vrabel has changed the culture. Mike Vrabel has changed the roster. They signed a ton of veteran free agents. When they tee off on Sunday, 9 of those veteran free agents are going to be starters on that team. In addition, 3 really good draft picks are going to start right from day one. And, of course, they got Drake May. Most unique one I'm going to pay attention to because he's going to play an integral part in their offense is the running back Trevion Henderson out of Ohio State. They really liked him. He played pretty well in the preseason games. I got New England, surprise second. Miami, something's not right there with the Dolphins. Mike McDaniel's got inside turmoil. It's more than just Tua and Tyreek Hill. It's deeper than that. Very thin running backs. A lot of problems in the secondary. The top 5 DBs from last year are gone off the roster. I think this is going to be a bad season. I think that's a coach in jeopardy. I got Miami finishing third. And I got the New York Jets in last place. That might not be fair. I think Aaron Glenn comes in with his own set of values, how to run a franchise. He, of course, came off the Dan Campbell tree in Detroit. He's got Justin Fields. He doesn't know what he's got in Justin Fields, but Justin Fields is his quarterback. He's obviously got a really good defensive front, but there's got to be more there than just the wide receiver Garrett Wilson and the cover corner Sauce Gardner. I just don't think they have enough players, but it will be interesting to see if Aaron Glenn can do what Dan Campbell did in Detroit when he got there, will them to be better. I think Aaron Glenn has the potential to be a really good coach, but man, I look at the roster, kind of looks like a grab bag of people from here, there, and everywhere. Just don't think they have enough. So, John, is the AFC East race over already and a game has not been played? I mean, does anybody dare challenge Buffalo? You view any of those other teams differently than I do?
No, I mean, it's definitely Buffalo's to lose. I mean, you could probably flip-flop New England and the Dolphins. I could buy off on that, but why do you think the New York Jets are just a perpetually terrible franchise?
If you don't have quarterback and you have no prayer. I mean, this Jets situation at quarterback, this goes back so far. How many years has it been since Mark Sanchez was the number 1 pick in the future of the Jets at quarterback?
USC, right?
Yeah, and it has never, ever gotten better. Draft, fail. Free agent, fail. What a disaster. I mean, from Mark Sanchez through Zach Wilson, obviously to where they are right now with this rental of Hail Mary full of grace. I hope Justin Fields can make a pass that comes down in the right place. So that's the epitome of the problem. You don't have a quarterback, and they've not had a quality quarterback in a long time. You know, a year ago this week, or 2 years ago this week, I really thought Aaron Rodgers rental, that'd get him to the next guy. And Rodgers probably got hurt, and last year wasn't much of a season either. So you don't have a quarterback, you get problems. They got problems on Headstems, Long Island.
Bring back Chad Pennington.
Yes.
You have to, or Dan Marino. Or no, not Dan Marino. Joe Namath.
Yeah. That goes way back.
Way back.
Okay, that's all things in the AFC East. Buffalo is the team to beat. Buffalo has already clinched the division, I think. We go from that. Next one, John.
The AFC North, and yeah, this will be a battle for Lamar Jackson.
Let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson has done everything except get the ring. That organization has done everything in terms of a player personnel series of acquisitions to help him get that ring. You got Lamar, and then you got the 2000 rusher in Derrick Henry. They've gone out and quietly added tight ends. They've added more wide receivers, and they always build with defense. And what they did this past year defensively in the draft, they went out and got 2 Harbaugh-type players on defense, and Malachi Starks and pass rusher Mike Green out of Marshall. I mean, Baltimore looks like a complete team. But until you've done it, you haven't done it. And Lamar Jackson has not done it. I don't see any Super Bowl rings there. I got Baltimore winning the division. Surprise pick. I got Pittsburgh finishing second. Say what? Are you stupid? I got Pittsburgh in second, even though Mike Tomlin has not won a playoff game in 8 years. Pittsburgh has every piece of the package, and now they have what they've not had since the mid-Ben Roethlisberger era, a quarterback who will make plays and can lead. I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. Might be a short-term rental, but he's better than anything they've had in about the last 4 years since Ben R. retired. It's interesting. DK Metcalf arrives. He will not be a distraction. It's a big-time player. You add him to the tight ends that they've always had, to what they think will be a faster core of running backs. They are really good on defense. They added Jalen Ramsey in the back end at corner. They drafted Derek Harmon out of Oregon, though he won't start the season. He'll be out for a couple of weeks. They got Cam Hayward back. They got TJ Watt and his big paycheck. Pittsburgh looks complete, and it's complete because Aaron Rodgers is the one that seals this whole thing together. I got Pittsburgh surprise choice to finish second. Third place. You got Joe Burrow. You got a dangerous quarterback. You got an explosive offense. They don't have any defense. Haven't had defense for years. They're wasting Joe Burrow's career. Granted, they did get Trey Hendrickson signed to a one-year contract extension. They ended the nasty holdup. But at the end of the day, look around the rest of the people on defense. Who the hell are these guys? They keep changing pieces. They can't stop anybody. They're wasting Joe Burrow's career. Quarterback who can play, a defense that can't play. And in last place, I got Cleveland. Big payday for the pass rusher Myles Garrett. Really good draft pick and Mason Graham, defensive tackle. But the huge question there, quarterback question. They got 4 on the roster, and none of them are proven starters outside of the aged Joe Flacco. Massive health questions at left tackle, right tackle, where injuries have hurt them 3 years in a row. And who the hell's going to run the football now that Nick Chubb has departed after injuries in free agency? I feel bad for Kevin Stefanski. He's a bright guy as head coach. He just looks cursed by everything that's happening around him with the roster and the acquisitions. So I got Baltimore running away with it. Pittsburgh is my surprise choice in the AFC North, like New England was my surprise choice in the AFC East. And standing in the parking lot with his opinion from left field, John says,
You know, it's just like the AFC East. I look at that ranking and I'm saying 2 and 3 could flip flop. I could see that going either way. But yeah, I mean, Lamar Jackson dominant. This is his team. But you know, every year it's Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. We all these great quarterbacks in the AFC, and they can never get over the Chiefs. You know, so do you think this is finally the year that maybe the Ravens get to the Super Bowl?
Baltimore's done everything except get there.
Yeah, exactly.
Now Kansas City has been there. Buffalo's done everything except do it in the playoffs to get there. So somewhere you got to learn from it. And somewhere your organization has to add whatever the last missing link piece is to help you get there. But no, you're correct in your assessment. They are right there.
Right there.
But
right
they haven't
there.
gotten across the line.
No, they haven't. And by the way, the Browns, I think, are going to be the lovable franchise to root for because of all the drama. You know, and I, you know, again, you got Flacco, you're rolling him out there, but Gabriel looked really good in the preseason. Shedeur Sanders is a great story. And I think there's really only 3 quarterbacks now, right? Because they got rid of Pickett, you know, so the Browns should be a kind of like the soap opera that can entertain us while, you know, Lamar Jackson goes out and kicks some ass.
Are you comparing the Browns to the 120 lost New York Mets back in the day?
Yeah, the lovable Mets. Yeah.
Okay, that's all thing. You agree or disagree with me on Iron City beer in Pittsburgh? Steelers second place.
Oh, Steelers second place. Yeah, you know, well, it's the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. You know, is it going to work this time? Because Aaron Rodgers was great in Green Bay, but he's only been with the Jets and now with the Steelers, and he didn't do anything with the Jets. So I could see a potential Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin kind of face-to-face yelling at each other situation.
Hasn't happened yet, though.
Yeah, it might.
Okay, that's all things AFC North. Feel free. If you have an opinion, agree with us, give us thumbs up. Disagree, tell him he's wrong. Let's move to the next division.
Okay, let's go down the list here, and we got to go to the AFC South, and this division's kind of sorry.
Oh, Sisters of the Poor division, nice headline. Houston's done a great job roster building. Dan Casario, who came from New England, has done a great job. D'Amico Ryans is a really good coach, been in the playoffs twice already. Look at the mess that he inherited. They got C.J. Stroud. They got 2 veteran power running backs. They have a fistful of young wide receivers who can run, and they got Will Anderson and a pile of guys who can play defense. This is a really good team. It's a really young team. They've had to fix the offensive front because Stroud took a pounding, but they were very active in the offseason. I'm going to be intrigued to see whether or not, from a personality standpoint, C.J. Stroud is more precise in where he's throwing. He's not running for his life all the time. I guess the bottom line is, have they fixed the offensive front to make them top to bottom a really good team? But I'll tell you what, they play defense. Damn, did they play defense. So I got Houston win the division because there's nobody else in the division. Jacksonville, Liam Cohen comes in as the head coach, brings his playbook. He's got Trevor Lawrence. That's a project. That's reconstruction, talent-wise, reconstruction, confidence-wise. Fun to see what they do with Travis Hunter. Depth chart just came out yesterday. Hunter will be the starting wide receiver on one side. who will be the first cornerback off the bench when they go nickel. He's not going to play every down on defense. Burning question. They've had a lot of injuries on that football franchise. Burning question. Do they have two healthy running backs? Because both those guys were hurt last season. This is kind of a make or break year for Trevor Lawrence. You know, he came in from Clemson, came in as a hot commodity. They got to the playoffs. There was that 27-0 deficit with the Chargers in the playoffs. They came back and won that game. Oh, it's a burning question because since that point in time, he's given ground. He's also been beat up because the team hasn't been very good around him. So keep an eye on that. Indianapolis, Daniel Jones takes over after the franchise gave up on Anthony Richardson. Jones will be a stabilizer. He won't see anything in Indy worse than what he saw as a quarterback of the New York Giants when he made them competitive, but he took a terrible pounding, got hurt, wound up leaving as a free agent. Huge question, do they have enough skilled people around him? That's really debatable outside of the running back, Jonathan Taylor. Can they keep their defense healthy? They've had some really good players there, just not been able to stay on the field. Likely a long season. Guy to watch, is he an H-back? Is he a tight end? Is he my fullback? I'm talking about Ty Warren from Penn State, the rookie.
Yeah.
They're going to spread the ball all over the place. So new leader, Daniel Jones, maybe he'll make them more competitive. Obviously, Anthony Richardson is not playing right now. Last place, Tennessee. Cam Ward, it's your team. It's going to be a long learning curve season for him. This is a massive rebuild. The one thing about the Titans, and nobody will talk about this because defensive line play is not sexy. Love their defensive front led by Jeffrey Simmons. But those guys can't be on the field 60 minutes a game. So it'll be interesting to see the growth of Cam Ward, but this is the epitome of being a top pick going to a really bad team, and this is a really bad team. And Titans, once upon a time, were really good. So not much of a division. Has Houston fixed the offensive front? That, to me, is the most critical thing. If they do, then they become upper echelon in the AFC. Go ahead, John. Take a shot here in the South.
You know, it's interesting. This division is totally up for grabs. I mean, a mediocre team, if they just make that one step forward, they can go and grab this thing. And I was thinking about the Jaguars because don't they have like a really young GM, like a new guy, and they wanted to bring a new life. And they went and they got Travis Hunter because he was an exciting two-way player. And I'm happy to hear that you were saying he's going to be the first off the bench to play D, which I think is going to make the Jaguars some must-see TV. Yep. I mean, so imagine if you've got Travis Hunter, you fix Trevor Lawrence, you got the new coach with the new playbook, a young GM, you know, suddenly things could open up for Jacksonville and they could maybe turn the corner.
No, you're right. I'll be interested to see the impact of Leon Cohen, real bright light, and Trevor Lawrence, because that thing has been a miscast team the last couple of years. Like I say, Lawrence's career just seems to be going in the wrong direction. Maybe they throw a switch because they have drafted, that front office has drafted a bunch of young skill wide receivers last year and this year. So that's going to be fun watching. That's all things AFC South. To the AFC West, where we all have opinions.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I know you do.
Kansas City Chiefs. The season's not about Mahomes. It's not about Travis Kelce Swift. It's not about their really good defense. This season turns on left tackle, right tackle. Can Josh Simmons, the Ohio State left tackle, the ex-Aztec, the #1 pick, can he do the job at left tackle? Can Jalen Moore, in a combination with Jawan Taylor, hold up, do the job at right tackle? Andy Reid is of the opinion, yes. We fix those bookend guys. That protects Mahomes. Mahomes in the pocket is much more dangerous. And by the way, we got a lot of diverse speed, and we're going to attack down the field because Mahomes is not going to be running for his life. It's going to be fascinating to see. Now, there is no Rashee Rice to start for the first 6 weeks by virtue of the suspension. That's going to be a blow because he's going to miss 4 games against some of the best teams in the league. But if they are what they think they are because they fixed the pass blocking and the run blocking, they're going to really be dangerous. So I got Kansas City winning until somebody takes them out. I don't know that Denver can take them out, but I think Denver is going to be the second team in the division. You got Sean Payton, Bo Nix back for their second year. You got a #1 ranked defense that just added Jared Barron at a great cover corner from the University of Texas. You add into that 2 free agents they signed from the 49ers, Dre Greenlaw and the veteran safety Tufnaga. Those are pretty good football players to an already really good defense. And on offense, it's more than just Bo Nix and more than just Cortland Sutton. Now they went into the marketplace and they got a really good pass-catching tight end in Evan Ingram, and they got the near 1,000-yard rusher, J.K. Dobbins, and they drafted another running back, R.J. Harvey. I think they got every component to take the next step. It'll be interesting to see how different they are in year 2 with Peyton and Nix than they were in year 1. Chargers. I think Joe Horwitz done a great job in 2 years loading that roster with athletes who can run. Only concern I have, and I might be the only guy in a street corner saying I have no problem with Justin Herbert. The whole world is writing hasn't one bleep. He's put up all these numbers, hasn't one bleep. Well, that's an organizational failure. He's played hurt virtually every year because he's taken such a pounding because the offensive front was so bad. And they haven't had game-breaking wide receivers, and the running game has been skitterish and iffy throughout the course of his career. And he's gone through coaching changes, offensive coordinators, etc. What's wrong with the Chargers is not the quarterback. It's easy to say he's never won a playoff game. He's 0-2. It's easier and more realistic to say the organization has failed him. Now, they think they've fixed the offensive line, though this loss of Rashawn Slater is huge. I think they have enough at wide receiver. I'm still waiting for Quentin Johnston to show up as an every Sunday player, causing problems rather than an in-and-out guy. They think they're going to be okay at running back. Najee Harris today was just named the starter for Friday night's game, despite just 6 days of practice. So you got Harrison, you got Omari Hampton. I think offensively they're going to be okay. Huge question. Life after Joey Bosa and life after the 2 defensive tackles that were allowed to jump ship as free agents. That's a lot of uncertainty. Do they have skilled people who can rush the passer? Damn right they do. Jesse Minter will dial up everything from Khalil Mack to Thule, who's replacing Bosa at that rush end position. I do love their back 7. They are really deep at linebacker. They got a lot of athletes in the back secondary. But if you can't stop the run, and we'll find that the first couple weeks of the season, if you haven't replaced those bookend inside tackles, you got a real problem. But what's wrong with the Chargers has nothing to do with Justin Herbert. I think they're really, really close. But until they answer my questions, and my questions are the only ones that count, until they answer my questions, I can't see them winning the division. And I think Denver's a little bit more complete than the Chargers are right now. And the last one is the Raiders. This is so intriguing to me. This is a new era with a proven leader in Pete Carroll, a big play quarterback in Geno Smith, obviously a big play college running back in Ashton Genty. But that's it. What you need to do is hand out name tags in the locker room to the offensive linemen, because we don't know who any of these guys are, because hardly any of them have played with any success. And although I like the defensive front from Mad Max Crosby to the other side, I don't like the back 7. They lost everybody. And they were building a good defense, and they lost the linebackers and guys in the secondary. So they're going to hand out name tags. Hi, I am, and who are you? Oh, you're my teammate here. Okay, in cover 2. I just don't know they have enough players. And they just lost another player today. Amari Cooper, the wide receiver, quit. Walked out.
Wow.
Went to a team meeting and informed them, I am retiring. Wow. And again, he's been a solid receiver. He's not been the superstar I thought he would be when he came out of Alabama. And he's moved around the league a bunch. And now he's walked out on the Raiders 2 days before they're supposed to play their first game. So Pete Carroll's, it's work in progress. I'd love to see the energy. They will find some players on defense. I just don't think they have a really good 53-man roster. I don't think it's complete. So it's Kansas City's game until somebody knocks the crown off Andy Reid. You buy what I say about who finishes second versus third? Go ahead.
All the fans are going, man, Hacksaw's a Charger hater, man. Because Charger Nation, I think, thinks that they're definitely the number 2 team in this division.
Could be, but the questions I have, those are legitimate questions.
They are legitimate questions, but it's just funny. It's the rivalry going. Yeah, you got to pick Kansas City number 1. But it's funny how you have the Browns at the bottom of the AFC North. You get the Raiders at the bottom of the AFC West, and they're both the soap opera teams, right? Mm-hmm. And so they're going to still be fun to follow, even if, they're well under 500. But I wanted to ask you, you say Najee Harris is going to start for the Chargers.
Yes.
He hasn't played a lick in preseason. He's barely had any contact. Why not start the kid Omarion Hampton and then bring Harrison off the bench?
Important game. It's Kansas City. It's their defense. It's Steve Spagnuolo. You got to have blitz protections. Veterans can do that. Young guys in their first time at war probably get overwhelmed by it. Not to say Hampton's not going to get snaps. He'll get some snaps. And they must firmly believe Najee can stand up and take hits. We'll see if Najee gets stunned and he has to come out, or Najee's not Najee because he's had virtually no practice. Then Hampton is going to be the guy with Haskins as the backup short-term fullback, if you will. But they're going to throw the damn ball. Now, do you agree or disagree with me? The problem in Boltville has nothing to do with Justin Herbert, because whole national media is making it as if the failure of the franchise, owned by the first family of football, the Spanoses, is Justin Herbert's fault. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Herbert can do no wrong. He dates all the pretty women, and but yeah, I think you're right. And there's been that shuffling of the deck on the front line. He's going to be running for his life again, and you're right. And like Najee Harris, I'm worried he's not going to have the vision, because that's the thing you always hear about running backs, the vision to see the holes. But Herbert, he's had collapses, but the collapse, like in the playoffs against the Jaguars, that was a defense for the Chargers that imploded in the second half. It wasn't him.
And the collapse against Houston because they couldn't freaking protect him in last year's playoffs. They threw 4 picks.
Yeah. So it's not on him. They got to fix it.
Okay. All things AFC West. We're just halfway through here, our NFL preview. Just a reminder, podcast, when we're done with this NFL preview, we're going to the chat box, and your football question should be up there on the board. So, John, just remind all the new people, the NFL fans, how they join us in the chat box for Fans Forum when we're done with the podcast.
Casey is already in the live chat, and he's given his own breakdown of every division and all the playoff pictures. So if you got a similar comment in the world of sports, a question for Hacksaw, maybe you have a different opinion on how you would rank and stack rank these teams in each division, drop your take in the live chat on Facebook, on X, or on YouTube, and we'll get you involved in Fans Forum.
And with apologies to people out there that don't like the host of this podcast, I know what I know, and I know a lot. As for him, he's from left field. What can I say?
Well, it's in the NFL, man. I'm on the sidelines.
Okay, let's move on. Go from the AFC to the NFC.
Yeah, the NFC East, the beasts in the East.
Philadelphia, they won the ring with every type of talent you would want on the roster, and they're virtually all back. And obviously, Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley and a load of wide receivers and a couple of tight ends. A little bit of concern on the right side of the offensive line. Landon Dickerson is coming off a knee injury in camp, has hardly practiced nor played, and they don't have the big right guard. Mekhi Becton was allowed to leave, which kind of stunned me. Defensively, they're really good, but they lost 2 inside defensive tackles. They let some kids led by Josh Sweet and Milton Williams go to free agency, which really kind of stunned me because historically you don't let young developing stars leave. But the Eagles did. But the Eagles turned around and drafted. Their top 5 draft picks were all on the defensive side of the game. I got the Eagles winning the East. I got Washington, which was the surprise team last year, finishing second. But they're not going to sneak up on anybody this season. Can Jaden Daniels duplicate what he did last year now that every defensive coordinator in the league has got a season worth of video on the quarterback? Can Deebo Samuels make a big difference, coming in as wide receiver in the trade from Frisco and not be a distraction? Can Deebo be on one side with the dangerous Terry McLaurin is on the other? And they got rid of the running back Brian Robinson, and it is the Austin Eckler show now. Can the ex-Charger running back stay healthy? They're really good, but if people figured them out between year 1 and Jaden Daniels' second year. Third team, it's going to be a surprise. I got the New York Giants. I got the New York Giants because Jerry Jones has ripped apart the Dallas Cowboys. I got the New York Giants because Russell Wilson is more trustworthy at quarterback than they've had in a while. I got the Giants finishing third because they have a load on defense. And they went out and they got Abdul Carter from Penn State to go with a tremendous number of pass rushers. Now, they may play really boring football, but I'll tell you, their front 7 on defense is good. It doesn't matter. If Russell Wilson leads them to a 14-13 win, people in the Big Apple are going to be happy. I think Wilson's going to make them more competitive than anybody understands. And I think that defense, now that you add Abdul Carter, is going to make them great. I got Dallas in last. How about that culture shock? If the Star finishes in last place in the division, Jerry Jones makes changes. They make them for the best. You think they're going to wind up missing Micah Parsons? Because I really do. Last year was just a wreckage of injuries on the defensive side of the football. All those guys who were hurt are back, but are they going to play at the same level that they had played before they all went down? They got Troy Aikman. Congratulations, you got George Pickens. We'll see how that relationship works out. Is he going to be a distraction? Because now you got two divas. You got CeeDee Lamb on one side, George Pickens on the other.
Did you say Troy Aikman?
No.
I think you meant Dak Prescott.
Oh, did I say Troy Aikman? My bad.
Maybe I misheard it.
My mistake of the month. No, you got Dak Prescott. But I'm talking about the wide receivers.
Right.
You got two divas.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. And Cowboy football used to be known for Emmitt Smith, Ezekiel Elliott. Who the hell are these running backs? They don't have a heavy-duty running back. So I just think the roster is flawed, thanks to Jerry Jones. I got the Cowboys finishing last. You agree, disagree? You look at me rather strangely, or is that because you're wearing a Chihuahua's El Paso hat? Go ahead.
Yeah. I like your stack ranking here. And again, we see the drama, the soap opera that is projected for last place. The Eagles... The Eagles are going to play the Cowboys tonight. Now, where's that game? Is that in Philly or in Dallas?
Fly, Eagles, fly at home.
That's going to be just a tarnishing. It's just going to be a tar and feather thing, don't you think?
Could be. I think so. I mean, I wonder what the emotional state of the Cowboys is going to be because there's no Micah Parsons.
Yeah, it's going to be weird. And by the way, with the Giants, you're showing some optimism about Russell Wilson. And yeah, that could work. But he hasn't been much the last 3 or 4 years. I wonder if at some point Jackson Dart gets that starting spot because he looked good in the preseason.
He is now, as of this hour, the number 2 quarterback on the depth chart they turned in.
Yeah, good for him.
So he may get the chance to play. But see, I think the Giants, if the Giants can win 10-7, that's all they give a damn about. That defense can make you win 10-7.
Yeah, it's an interesting division.
Okay, that's all things NFC East. We move on
to the NFC North, black and blue football, the Norris division.
Oh, my God. This has got to be the best division in the NFC. Maybe as good a division as there is in the National Football League. Big play offense, Jordan Love. Big-time wide receivers, though they have to keep these guys healthy, the Christian Watsons of the world, the Jaden Reeds of the world. And now they add Texas rookie Matt Golden to that wide receiver core. 2 deep at running back. 4th-ranked pass rush in the league, and now Micah Parsons shows up this weekend wearing green and gold. They look like they have every component there to be the top team in the NFC North, which probably comes as a real shock to those people that live in the 313 area code, a.k.a. Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell's built some tremendous teams there. But, the first couple of years he was there, golden charmed. He had no injuries. The last 2 years, significant injuries. Offensive line, last year, defensive line wiped out, led by Aiden Hutchinson. Now, all those guys, he had 5 key defensive guys out last year with injuries. They're all back. Can they hold up? Can Hutchinson be what he was prior to the broken leg? They're really good. Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, the consortium of wide receivers, and the fact they just play war ball all the time. But I don't know that they have the explosiveness now that Green Bay has accumulated. I got Detroit finishing a surprise second to the Green Bay Packers. Here's a mystery team, Minnesota. They got the kid quarterback. It's the 3rd different starting quarterback in 3 years. J.J. McCarthy has never done this before. But boy, are they loaded around him. Really good offensive line led by Chris Darashaw. Big tight end in Hawkinson. They got 2 great wide receivers. No doubt about it, Jefferson and Addison, 2 hefty running backs. So there's a lot of complementary pieces that'll take the pressure off J.J. McCarthy. It's going to be fascinating to see if he hits the floor running and how he does as a first-year quarterback. Really good defensive front. I like the Vikings, but not enough to chase down first nor second place. Last team, the Bears. New coach Ben Johnson. The quarterback, Caleb Williams, who was running for his life all last season. Drastically different playbook. Lots of young wide receivers. They went out and got a big tight end from Michigan. Cortland Loveland. Luther Burden, another wide receiver. Odunzie is back. They think they've got a lot of skilled people and a different playbook for Caleb Williams to excel. 3 offensive linemen have been added to the team. They're trying to fix everything on the offensive side of the football. This bears watching how Caleb Williams does with all the things that Ben Johnson is going to demand as the new coach with a new playbook in Chicago. Fascinating division to me.
This bears watching.
Yeah, Bears.
The Bears. Okay, I would flip-flop the top 2 teams. I mean, Detroit has just been America's team. I mean, how can we pick up against America's team? You know, and then the Packers, by the way, you say they're 2 deep at running back. Isn't one of them Josh Jacobs?
Yes, that's heavy duty.
Oh yeah, big time. He's legit, you know. And then the golden receiver, I remember seeing him playing at Texas. He was hella good.
Yeah, and they got the 4 wide receiver, and now they had Matthew Golden, and they got a tight end that catches ball. I just think Jordan Love's just got a lot of factors around him that work.
Yeah, I mean, it is a really nice package there. I'm hopeful that the Bears can, you know, and Caleb Williams can have some success. I mean, the Bears have been starved for so long, and I'm always rooting for, you know, our guy, you know, Kevin O'Connell. So I hope the Vikings do good. I mean, there's a lot to – this is a very interesting division. There's a lot of storylines.
Oh, very much so. You'll be running down to Fox 5 to watch the NFC games on closed circuit in the studio. Okay, that's all things NFC North. Let's go south.
Wait, this is another – all these southern divisions are pretty weak, aren't they?
Oh, they are. Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield has arrived as a star. He's the catalyst of everything that goes on in Tampa. And I got questions. He's had a lot of injuries. Wide receivers, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin have both had major injuries over the last 3 years. Do they have legitimacy at running back, or doesn't it matter because Baker's the one that's going to create all the things offensively? They are really rugged on defense. Their front 7 is really good. Tampa, I think, is going to be a really good team in the NFC. It's not going to be a sexy name because there's so many marquee names in the NFC North. But I think Tampa's going to have a good season. And Baker Mayfield has just arrived as a star and a personality, and they signed him to this mega contract. He owns everything now on the Sun Coast. I mean, he is their star. After that, who cares? Atlanta, Michael Penix, it's your team. Now, they do have a pretty good insurance policy if this does not work out. If Michael Penix is too overwhelmed, they go back to Kirk Cousins. But we know that Kirk Cousins will throw for yards, he'll win some games, but in crunch time, he doesn't get it done. They think they've fixed their offensive line, which I'm sure Kirk Cousins will be very happy about. They drafted 3 pass rushers up front. I just don't think it's a team of complete components right now in Atlanta. But let's see how Michael Penix does. He did well when he had to replace Cousins after Cousins was shelved with injuries. He was pretty competitive. But again, this is second time now. People are compiling video on what Michael Penix does versus what Michael Penix can't handle. So we'll see what the second year for him is like. It's the 3rd year for Bryce Young. Carolina, I mean, they've been out there without a lot of talent. And Bryce Young was drafted and had to play and didn't play well. And then last year played miserably, got benched. He came back the back half of last season when they put him back in the lineup, and he played pretty well. Good defensive front. But what they've done the last 2 drafts, and it not got a lot of recognition because they've been so bad as a team, they drafted 2 stud wide receivers. They just drafted Teddy McMillan from the University of Arizona, 6'4", and last year they drafted Xavier Legette, although he was hurt for a chunk of the year. So I think they're putting some pieces around Bryce Young, and Bryce Young, when he came back after getting benched, he played really well the second half of the season. And then there's a team that I think is in massive trouble, and this is New Orleans. There is no Derek Carr. He's retired. They still have Alvin Kamara. They have Chris Olave, but they don't have a quarterback. I mean, they got 3 on the roster, but they don't have a starting quarterback. They're starting Rattler. Tyler Shuck, the rookie from Louisville, is there. They just re-signed Jake Haener, so he'll be the 3rd quarterback on the active roster. Can you protect them? That's a big question. Who's going to play defense? I saw them in preseason twice. They look miserable. So, hey, this is Baker Mayfield's division. Welcome to my party.
This is crazy, but that's a really terrible division, so hopefully the BUCS finish above 500, but Baker Mayfield seemed like he was like on the edge of a cliff, that his NFL career was almost over.
Yeah, he was in Cleveland. Look how that worked out.
And then I remember he flew into the play for the Rams at one time, and they gave him the playbook at like 2 days and did pretty well. So it's kind of nice that he landed on his feet somewhere, and they've got a star. But I'm looking at those teams, and I'm trying to figure out, are any of those like natural rivals? I'd imagine the Falcons and Saints have a lot of history as rivals, but who's the Buccaneers' #1 rival? The Dolphins, or is it the Jags? Or
Well, the Dolphins are in the AFC, so you don't get to play them very often.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tampa Bay's kind of miscast because those other franchises haven't really been great.
No. I mean, who would you match up? Like, maybe Carolina with the Commanders, or I don't know.
So we'll see. I mean, Tampa's going to run roughshod. You know, Tampa could probably win 6 games right there in that own division. They could be 6-0.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I agree.
Okay, that's all things NFC South. Last stop on their NFL preview. Let's go West.
The NFC West, this is the Rams division to lose.
The Rams came within a snowball's throw of going to the Super Bowl last year before losing at the end to the Philadelphia Eagles. They have a really young defense that's now together for the 3rd year in a row. The one common thread, they run like hell, and they play defense, and they hit, and they are deep, and they have numbers. They got the aging Matthew Stafford. He says, I'm ready to play. They think they can protect him. We'll see if he can stay on the field. They'll play all 17 games. That's going to be a huge part of the equation. But, you know, they've added Devontae Adams at wide receiver. They got Puka Nacua on the other side. Keep an eye on this rookie tight end, Terrence Ferguson out of Oregon, to complement what they've got with Ty Higbee. They're 2.5 to 3 deep at running back. Only glitch they have, can their left tackle, right tackles hold up? They've had injury problems there. This blood clot thing with Alaric Jackson, to me, is a bit of a red flag, but the doctors have cleared him to play. They look like they have every component to be an elite team in the NFC. Seattle, which is the real Sam Darnold, the one that went through 13 amazing games with the Vikings under Kevin O'Connell's guidance, or the one that fell apart at the end of the season and Minnesota elected not to resign. It's going to be his team in Seattle with the Seahawks. Will they miss DK Metcalf? I don't know. They picked up Cooper Kupp. Kupp's a little bit, he's got a lot of miles on him. But you had Kupp and then Jeba Smith, the Ohio State wide receiver. They're 2 to 3 deep at running back. They have to stay healthy. They've had a lot of injury problems, running back injury problems, offensive line. I guess my burning question, do they have enough in the back 7 defensively? I like Seattle's defensive front, but I don't know whether I trust Sam Darnold. Was that the real Sam Darnold we saw? Or was that the Sam Darnold at the end of the season when everything got to him and he fell apart? Arizona, they've worked really hard under John Gannon. They play really tough defense. Gannon came from Philadelphia, so he knows defense. So now you got Kyler Murray, better receiving core, couple of veteran running backs. They added an Eagle, Josh Sweet, who came from Philadelphia as a free agent. I was absolutely stunned. They drafted a big defensive tackle, Walter Nolan. Won't play the first game because he had a minor calf injury, but everybody that have canvass's opinion, this is a stud. I think Arizona is going to be good. Is Arizona anywhere equal to the Rams? No. But they could confront Seattle for second place. Last year was miserable at 6-11. I fear this year could be worse. I had a terrible feeling about the 49ers. They had to extricate themselves from a whole bunch of veteran players, free agency. You know, they trade big play guys and personalities and guys that were distractions like Deebo Samuel. They had contract problems. They had cap problems. They've had a lot of injury problems. This preseason's been an absolute mess. At one point, their 6 top wide receivers were all out of practice, could not play in exhibition games because of injury. They drafted 5 guys. Their top 5 picks were all defensive players. So keep that in mind. A lot of young guys going to be playing up front. Got Christian McCaffrey to go with Brock Purdy, and then they traded for Brian Robinson from Washington. So they're 2 deep at running back, and maybe they think this young offensive line is going to wake up and be really good. I just don't think they have enough components right now. I don't think they have enough proven commodities, and it's just lost so many veteran players off their rosters. I think it's going to be a really tough year for Kyle Shanahan. So that's what I think about what's happening on the West Coast. Tell me what you think.
It's just weird to see the 49ers at the bottom of the list. You know?
Well, you could say I'm full of crap, but that's okay. You wouldn't be the first one.
No, it's just, I mean, the Rams, it's their division to lose. You got Seattle too. I mean, Arizona, you don't know what they're going to be. You know, so let's talk about the Rams for a minute because they're going to win this going away, this division. Now, do you see like Devontae Adams being like Stafford's #1 playmaking receiver? He's not going to supplant Puka Nacua, is he?
No, but how are you going to cover both of them? You can't double both of them. And by the way, they got tight ends they're going to throw to. Terrence Ferguson, I think, is a potential of a star in the making for the Rams. So I mean, it's going to be fascinating to do with schemes. And how do you defend Devontae Adams? Do you have to double him, or can you match up single? But he's so big, and he makes plays, and he gets open. We know how dart and dash and how fast and yards after catch Puka is. So, I mean, Matthew Stafford's got a lot of different things he can go to get the ball down the field.
Yeah, he does. I mean, the team is just solid up and down. But, yeah, the other three teams, I mean, it's just a jumbled mess.
And that defense, that Rams defense.
Oh, yeah, everybody hella good. Great coach, good GM.
Yeah, I just think it's fascinating. Okay, those are the divisional breakdowns. I'm asking you, urging you, no, hell, I'm demanding. You join us in Fans Forum. There should be no excuse for all the football fans with us on the live stream. No excuse for you not to jump into the chat box. And again, John, how does the Fans Forum chat box work so they can tell us their opinion about our NFL picks?
Yeah, I mean, it's your chance to get involved. You got a question for Hacksaw. You have a different opinion on how these divisions should be set up. Just drop your take in the live chat, YouTube, X, Facebook. Love seeing first-timers in the list as well.
Tell us if you agree with me. Tell us if you think he's crazy. Okay, before we get to halftime, it is the opening weekend of the NFL. Starts tonight, another game tomorrow, load of games on Sunday. John, let's just go through marquee games real quick.
A must-see TV.
Cowboys-Eagles, Thursday Night Football. Does Dallas survive all the distractions that Jerry Jones has created? The bigger question is, how much does Dallas really miss Micah Parsons? And then you got, what is Dallas going to do defensively to hold up against Jalen Hurts? Hurts throwing to A.J. Brown and the other wide receivers, and Saquon Barkley. I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout. It could be a blowout. Dallas could be in last place in the division by 10 o'clock tonight. I got the Eagles winning that game. Chargers-Chiefs on Friday night in Brazil. Part of me is fascinated to see the matchup. What's the matchup, Hacksaw? It's not Justin Herbert versus Patrick Mahomes. It's Justin Herbert versus Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator. Herbert is 2-8 against Kansas City. Now, of those games, 7 of them have been decided by a touchdown or less. So he's had them in all these games, but they haven't won. But he's 2-8 against them. Mahomes, by the way, is 10-2 against the Bolts. So the Spagnuolo matchup of what he does defensively to slow down Herbert remains to be seen. Spagnuolo has a history of pressing the blitz button. You've got this reconfigured offensive line. Are they going to better protect them? They didn't run block very well. They're going to run block with new people this year so that Najee Harris and Hampton can run the football. That's going to be interesting. What is life like after Bosa and those 2 defensive tackles? From the Kansas City standpoint, trust me, that defensive coordinator with the Chargers is going to send people. He's going to test the manhood of Josh Simmons and the blitz and the right tackle, Jalen Moore or Jawan Taylor. And we'll see who's going to win the war between the Charger blitz package versus these new guys out on the edge trying to protect Patrick Mahomes.
Josh Simmons is our guy, San Diego State, right?
He's Kansas City's left tackle.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Yeah.
So pay attention. So the Chargers-Chiefs, Friday Night Football. Damn, it's going to be great. Most unique meeting on the weekend. Raiders, Patriots, New England. Debut Pete Carroll. Debut Mike Vrabel. Pete just doesn't have enough right now. And losing guys like Amari Cooper resigning and retiring this morning is a big setback. You got Drake May of the Patriots coming off a pretty good first season. Now with better skill guys around him because Vrabel's brought in free agents. You got Drake May going against a repatched work secondary. He may have a big statistical night throwing the football. Now, you do have Mad Max Crosby. You got this defensive front who rushes pretty well. So I'll be intrigued to see if they protect Drake May really well. At the end of the day, Geno Smith, he'll scamper. He'll make plays downfield. Can Genti run the football? They didn't run it worth a lick in preseason. His offensive line, they're all wearing name tags. None of those guys outside of Colton Miller have accomplished anything. And again, the Raiders have lost 2 players that I thought were cornerstones. Christian Wilkins, who they released in the contract dispute, and now what happened today with Amari Cooper. So Raiders-Patriots, new coaches, that's going to be fun. In the AFC, you got the Ravens and you got the Bills right out of the gate.
Wow.
Sunday night shootout. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Allen versus this unbelievable Ravens defense. You got Derrick Henry running against a Buffalo defense is no longer what Buffalo's defense used to be. I could see this being a Baltimore win. Rams, Houston, Matthew Stafford against that Houston pass rush. Fascinating. Does he get them getting the ball out quicker, or do they get him with that pass rush? That's really going to be fun. And, of course, conversely, they've rebuilt the offensive line in Houston. How does C.J. Stroud hold up to what is a fierce Rams pass rush? You want to see people play with their hair on fire? Watch your Rams defense. It's really fun. And then you got in the NFC North, you got the Lions versus the Packers right from the get-go. Jared Goff versus Jordan Love. You got Green Bay's pass rush with Micah Parsons showing up. That's going to be a wild game. I mean, both these quarterbacks are going to be under siege. So, as you say, John, must-see TV. Great headline.
Yeah, I give a gold star to the schedule maker. Yeah. I mean, for week one, look at those matchups. I mean, it's going to be a fun rivalry tonight, Cowboys-Eagles, but that's lopsided. You know what's fun about talking about the Chargers and the Chiefs, and they're playing in Brazil? The social media team for the Chargers, they kind of talk to the players after practice, and they were just having some fun. They were talking about who do you want to sit next to on the plane? It's like a 12-hour flight, and they were sampling like little kinds of Brazilian snacks, and they were kind of experimenting, get to know some of the players. I like that kind of content on social media.
You have a lot of spare time on your hands, don't you?
It's good. It's good stuff. But I'm rooting for the Chargers, I think. I don't know if I should say that as a San Diegan anymore. The Raiders-Patriots should be fun. Vrabel is a personality out there. But I grew up as a Raider fan, during the Ken Stabler days. So that's where my heart is going to be in that game. Bills, Ravens, holy crap, week one. That's like AFC championship material. Rams, just like you say, they're going to be fun to watch against the Texans. And geez, the Lions, Packers, is that one going to be Monday night?
No, Monday night. For some reason, they have the Vikings and Bears on Monday night, why are you doing that?
Well, that's another big rivalry game,
But so neither one of those at this point, those are young quarterbacks. That's not the game.
Well, it's not the game, but the schedule makers figured, hey, we'll get the Midwest TV ratings cranked up for that one.
Okay, so that's all things first weekend of football. We've covered it because we do sports talk on this podcast the way it should be done. We're giving you all the opinions you'd want about the NFL. So we get to halftime. We are going to cover some baseball and a few other items, and then we're going to open it up to fans forum for you to get involved. This podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers, 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. Just like we checked off all the boxes and all the storylines in the NFL, John, you check off all the things that DIXIELINE can bring any of their customers who walk through the front door.
Well, the list is long. It's lumber, building materials, doors, windows, kitchen, bath, decking outside, but what's one of the cool things about DIXIELINE is they have drive-through lumber yards, which is really kind of an interesting thing, because if you go to like one of the big box stores, you got to roll in your cart into the store and you're looking at the lumber. DIXIELINE's got quality lumber. You roll your truck in, maybe you got an SUV, or maybe you're a contractor, with a flatbed trailer. They're going to get you the wood, they're going to load it up for you, and you're going to be out the door, lickety split. It's much more well-designed for, I think, the builder and the contractor and the do-it-yourself homeowner, especially if you need lumber. That's one of the great things about DIXIELINE. 100 years in San Diego. 9
locations to serve you. Just find out what they can mean to you. Just go to the website, DIXIELINE.com. Just a couple of reminders. If you like sports, read my website, LeeHacksawHamilton.com. Read my one man's opinion column I posted today, because that's the written version of my NFL preview, a club-by-club breakdown of everything across the National Football League. Want you to join me on social media. Just follow me, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. Hit the follow button there on X. Want you to share. Tell everybody what we do Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. Want you to subscribe. When you subscribe, every time we put something new up on the YouTube channel, you will get the alerts. Once you're part of Hacksaw's Insiders Group, you'll get on our email list. When you get on the email list, you get 2 different emails a day from the 2 of us about all things in the world of sports. And John, when we're done, we're going to ask any of these people to join us. Fans Forum chat box will be open. How does Fans Forum work again for new people on this stream and
Yeah,
live stream.
for new people, if you want to get involved, we're about to talk baseball. We just did the first half. It's all NFL. We're going to get into baseball and the all kinds of other things, and fans forum comments and questions. So that's your chance to get involved. So drop your take in the live chat on X, on YouTube, or on Facebook.
All right, let's go to the second half. This podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. John, we're talking baseball. I can't believe what we have seen this week.
Yeah, both the Padres and Dodgers are just killing us.
Just absolutely amazing. Explain this. Baseball fan out there watching, please explain this to us. How is this possible? You're playing the worst teams in baseball and you're losing to the worst teams in baseball at the most important time of the pennant race run, the month of September. Padres get swept by the Baltimore Orioles. Padres have lost 8 of their last 10. Now they go on the road. Get this. The last 19 games they've played, they've had 3 quality starts.
It's been terrible.
All by Nick Pivetta. The other 16 have been abysmal. And here's Nestor Cortez serving up 3 home runs in 1 inning in a row after serving up a leadoff home run to the Orioles. Nick Pivetta is going to be given the ball to pitch Friday night in Colorado. He is the ace of the staff. Phenomenal year, 13-4. Do you know what his career number is at Coors Field?
No, I don't.
Career earned run average in Denver for Nick Pivetta, 17.36.
Well, that's really bad even for Denver.
The Rockies have a career .456 batting average against him when he pitches at Coors Field.
Holy crap.
That's right. I used a different adjective adverb, but that's it. You know the starters in the last 7 games for the Padres? Here's a stat. The starters have gone 25 innings in 7 games. That's just a shade over 3 innings per start. In 25 innings, they've given up 25 runs, 36 hits, 15 walks. That's 51 base runners in 25 innings. The collective ERA of all those starters, excluding Nick Pivetta, the collective ERA, those guys, is 9.00. And Manny Machado is hitting .218 since August 1st. Machado and Tatis between them have 2 home runs each since July 25th. I mean, this team is totally dysfunctional. And we got 3.5 weeks to go in the season. I would normally say, no problem. They'll put together a streak. They're playing bad people. But there's a problem. They're 2-8 in their last 10 playing bad people.
Right.
So that's a shocker of a story. And before you people in LA laugh at the people in San Diego, what are you laughing about? Your Dodgers losing to Pittsburgh. Your Dodgers, ready for this stat? I'm sorry to be a stat freak, but there's always numbers behind the storylines. The Dodgers this year against the worst teams in baseball, John, the Dodgers with a $383 million payroll, Dodgers are 4-11 against the worst teams in baseball this season.
4-11?
4-11.
That doesn't make any sense.
Sure it does. We're playing the Pirates, the Rockies, Arizona, and the Angels as bad as they're playing. Think about that.
I think you could add up all their payrolls and it's still less than the Dodgers.
That's right. Dodgers right now have no edge. I mean, when your manager in his post-game autopsy press conferences uses the word like edge, lack of intensity, lack of focus, what he should be saying is lack of leadership. Where's the leadership on the field from this team? There seems to be no fire in these guys. They're just going out and playing. If I hit a home run, I hit a home run. And they got lineup problems. Michael Conforto was a $17 million disgrace in left field. They gave Teoscar Hernandez his 3-year extension. He had such a good season last year, and he's like half the player he was last year. And then the boys in the bullpen, 24 blown saves.
24?
This season. The relievers on the Dodgers, the right-hander relievers, ERAs of 4.68, 4.44, 4.91. I mean, it's just abysmal. And the team ERA is 4.12. The team ERA with the gold standard starters, but because the relievers are so bad, the team ERA is 4.12. It's just terrible. Can the Dodgers rally? Yeah, I guess so. They're playing bad people too, but they've been playing bad people for weeks, and look where they are. So if you want to make an excuse, go ahead. Or you want to critique both, go ahead. You're not going to compliment anybody, are you?
No, they're both playing horrible. I mean, and this is the Dodgers are like handing the division to the Padres, and they're
thank you.
I know exactly, and they won't take it. It's right there for the taking. It just sort of makes me wonder. Is a 162 game season just too long?
Bingo.
Because I think they're just dragging. Through August, this heat, everything else. So I don't know. I mean, but you're talking about the Dodgers, that bullpen. I mean, think of all the great closers the Dodgers have had, like Jay Howell and Eric Gagne. Where's one of those guys? I mean, they have nothing. That bullpen is a shambles. And even like some of their star hitters have gone through slumps, and it's just been a mess up there. And then, the Padres just keep tripping over themselves. I mean, they're both going to back their way into the playoffs.
Yeah. Now, granted, playoffs, that becomes a short series. Here's the thing that alarms me. If you're staggering and stumbling around against the Pirates and the White Sox and the Rockies and the Orioles, what is it going to be like we get the first week of October when we start playing real people?
Well, yeah. Well, I know. I think the Dodgers and Padres probably are thinking, well, we can turn it on when we need to turn it on, but you can't do that, especially in September. I mean, you got to get on a roll. I mean, I know Schilt must be like just hitting himself in the head trying to manage his team.
Just absolutely amazing. So you're a Dodger fan, you're a Padre fan, you're a baseball fan. It's always been part of this podcast since day one. Join us in the Fans Forum chat box. What do you think? What's going to happen? Is there a solution to what we've seen? Because what we've seen the last couple of weeks, wow, hard to believe. Okay, we go from baseball. Let's talk hoops.
This is a weird story about Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, this really has the potential to be a really ugly story. The NBA has begun an investigation into a business relationship that Kawhi Leonard and his uncle-agent have set up with a company that went bankrupt, that paid him $28 million on the side, or maybe I should say $28 million under the table. The allegation is what a tree company did with Kawhi Leonard was circumvention of the salary cap. Kawhi Leonard made a deal for $28 million to endorse a tree company, did absolutely no work whatsoever. The company wound up going bankrupt, and all these documents surfaced in the bankruptcy hearing of these payments to Kawhi Leonard. Volumes of money, $28 million. Now, this is after Kawhi Leonard had signed a massive contract for $176 million with the Clippers. Then this side deal came in. He was not allowed to make more money by virtue of being with the Clippers. And the insinuation of the allegation, because people who work for this bankrupt company in accounting testified in the bankruptcy case, so that money was paid to Kawhi Leonard to circumvent the salary cap. Yikes. Now, is Steve Ballmer guilty? We don't think so. I don't think so. He's not that kind of man. Was he an investor in this tree company? Yes, he was. Did he sue the tree company when it went bankrupt? Is he a creditor? Yes, he is, to get his money back. I don't think Ballmer was involved. The guy that's got dirty hands in all this is his uncle. His uncle has been at the center point of controversy representing Kawhi Leonard since Leonard was a pro with the San Antonio Spurs. The uncle, Daniel Robertson, up in the Riverside County area, went to the Toronto Raptors after Kawhi had negotiated what appeared to be a lockdown deal to stay with the Raptors, the max contract. The uncle came back and asked for 4 different endorsement packages on the side, under the table. Toronto Raptors said, we can't do that. That's illegal. NBA got word of it, and they informed the Raptors, you can't do that. That's illegal. So that uncle asked sidebar deals on behalf of Kawhi Leonard in Toronto. And then the report was that he asked for similar sidebar deals with Steve Ballmer. Hotels, ownership of the club, plane flights, endorsement money on the side. Ballmer said, can't do that. We're offering you the max contract of $173 million. So it's apparent to me that Daniel Robertson has got dirt on his hands going out to get all these sidebar deals that in essence circumvent the salary cap. I don't know where this is going to go. The last team that was involved with circumvention of the salary cap was the Minnesota Timberwolves with big high-scoring forward Joe Smith. When the NBA got done with that investigation, they stripped the team of 5 first-round draft picks.
Wow.
And they fined him $500,000. So Kawhi know this? He had to. Kawhi turns all of his business ventures over to Daniel, his uncle. Uncle's got a ticky-tack reputation for a decade representing this star player. I'll be intrigued to see where this goes. I don't think we're going to get a decision within a week, but this thing is going to linger out there till the NBA makes a decision. It's a stunning story. But if you know the history of Kawhi Leonard's representation, connect the dots on all this.
Well, isn't this sort of like what Manchester City went through in the English Premier League, where the ownership kind of set up all these marketing deals so they could exceed the salary cap? This is kind of a gray area, because Kawhi's agent is like hooking him up with New Balance, and all the other companies he endorses. And Ballmer probably says, hey, man, I got this tree company and maybe Kawhi can help them out. And, I know a guy who knows a guy, and suddenly the agent's cooking up the 28 mil for it. Makes it sound a little stinky.
Yes.
But in the end, if that tree company goes bankrupt, that hurts Ballmer. Ballmer can absorb the hit. But if there are a lot of other investors, then follow the money. Are they going to eat it just so Ballmer can be nice to Kawhi, or is Ballmer going to pay off all those other investors in the tree company? So this could be perfectly above board, or it could be very covert. So I think we need to find more information.
Except the tree company executives that were subpoenaed testified to the paperwork that this was salary cap intervention.
Oh, so they knew it was a scheme.
You got it.
And by the way, how in the hell is a tree company going to hire Kawhi? What do? They grow trees, or they trim trees? Or?
They grow trees, and the green wave of doing business, whatever that means.
Interesting.
Didn't last, and the CEO pled guilty to $245 million in fraud.
Weird.
So that's where we are. We'll see where this NBA story goes. You're a basketball fan? You want to comment on the Kawhi Leonard thing? Fans Forum chat box is open. Last set of topics on the table before we let the fans take over this podcast. John, quickly here, we got a lot of different headlines.
Yeah, we do. The high-speed sports wire, Johnny Manziel at the top.
Johnny football. He's been off the radar for a long time. Johnny Manziel this week popped off. He blames the Cleveland Browns for all the problems he had for his failed NFL career coming out of Texas A&M. He said, they put me in an environment in which we could not win. I did not get the proper coaching. The media pressure that I was under was ridiculous. They are to blame for everything that's ever happened. Now, this is Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football, who last I saw in Cleveland was bar hopping every night, buying drinks for everybody, walking around during the course of games, making signs like, I got the money after he threw a touchdown pass. Blaming everybody for his failure as a person. My God. Johnny Football. Second name. This really sad. This was a great gentleman. He was a trailblazer. George Raveling, legendary coach, USC. Prior to that, Washington State. Prior to that, Iowa. Legendary business entrepreneur, great black executive for Nike. Tremendous relationship with Michael Jordan. What George Raveling did in his career as an African-American was phenomenal. He was a confidant of Martin Luther King. Very intellectual man. Just a really, really special gentleman. George Raveling just passes away at the age of 88. Interesting story about the culture of New York Knicks basketball. Julius Randle, pretty good basketball player, started with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Has moved around a lot. Was in Minnesota and kind of found himself. Always thought he was really offbeat, kind of a strange player. Julius Randle goes public this week, talks about drug abuse with the New York Knicks, and said he was so disenfranchised because he was doing weed all the time. Nice drug testing program in the NBA, by the way. And he says until he got clean, after he left the Knicks, went to Minnesota, he changed his life. He became a star. But he said, I'm a different person now, and I saved my life by the very bad experience I had with weed with the Knicks. Beckett Seneke. Not a household name, will be a household name, might be here this winter. His #1 draft pick a year ago of the Anaheim Ducks, wrapping up a really great career in the Ontario Hockey League. Scored 38 goals this past year, big 6'4" winger. He's eligible at age 19 to come play in the American Hockey League this season. The NHL at this hour is negotiating with the CHL, which is the Canadian Hockey League that oversees junior hockey. They're going to put in place a bylaw in which every team in the league can assign one 19-year-old draft pick, take him out of junior where he's excelled, and put him into the American Hockey League to play for their respective team. Bennett Seneke might wind up with the Anaheim Ducks. I doubt he's going to make the NHL at age 19. But if this deal goes through, he'd come here to San Diego rather than go back to junior, where he doesn't gain anything by dominating for another year against many younger players. So that's be cool. Interesting to see if he comes here at age 19. And we've talked extensively about auto racing. We've talked extensively about Cadillac One, the F1 team. It's going to start next year. And the fact that they chose 2 European drivers, Sergio Perez and Val Bottas, are going to be their lead drivers next year. And they had said they were going to hire an American. The American was supposed to be Colton Herta. Then last week, rumors surfaced that Herta was negotiating to go to Europe and run for a Formula 2 team to build his experience and get his super license. You got to have a super license based on experience. Well, Herta changed his mind. Herta's just announced he's going to Cadillac as their test driver. He will be the backup to Perez and Bottas, and he will do all their testing, and he will do laps in practice at each of the major events. And you get your super license by building points. So if he can build his points, that'll fast forward his career into Formula One, but he's going to do it under the guidance of Cadillac One rather than going to run in F2. And the other auto racing story, great career, Will Power, Indy 500 champ, 2-time points champion, won 42 races in IndyCar. He's being let go by Team Penske, which has gone to a youth movement. Will Power, Australian, becomes hot free agent on the IndyCar circuit. So it's going to be interesting to see where he winds up. He's going to wind up with another job. But the thing is, you're leaving Penske. Penske is a great, great, well-run organization. But Will Power is stepping aside. So, Johnny Football, it's your fault.
Johnny Football, man. Well, he was a sensation at Texas A&M.
Oh, you think?
You know, and I was kind of hoping he was going to have success with the Browns. And, you know, he's not wrong that the Browns didn't set him up for success. But you can't say that. I mean, you know, especially with all of his bar hopping and everything. But my guess is that if you were to do kind of a documentary on all the money in sports and NIL and how we got here, I mean, Johnny Manziel is part of that story, don't you think?
Well, I don't think he did anything illegal at Texas A&M. That was pre-NIL.
But he was signing things and getting a ton of money for it. It was kind of like a way to kind of get around the rule. So I don't know. To me, I've always liked, you know, his swashbuckling kind of angle. And it was funny he was drafted by the Padres too. But,
it's funny he was drafted by the Browns, who have such a great history of developing quarterbacks going back.
Well, it's like one of those Browns fans wears the jersey with like 20 guys listed on the back of all the quarterbacks. The George Raveling, I knew he was a special man. I didn't know he was a confidant of Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes.
Wow. Dude's got some gravitas.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
You know,
the story, I don't know if you heard the story. George Raveling was a young man who worked at the nation's capital the day that Martin Luther King gave his speech, I Have a Dream.
Oh, really? That's 1963, I think.
And George Raveling went up to Martin Luther King's people and said, I'd like to introduce myself. And he did. And he said, I would like a copy of your speech. And Martin Luther King gave him the speech he had just read at the podium. And George Raveling kept that in his archives and had just donated it to Villanova University, his alma mater.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, George was so influential in the business community of basketball. In addition to what he did, he took Iowa, which was nothing, took USC, which was nothing, took Washington State, which is even less, took them all to the NCAA tournament. Great guy.
What a guy. And that's a guy he understood the value of that moment, I Have a Dream, and how that speech would be a collectible. Yeah. And good on him. The Julius Randle thing is interesting because you can't, TB12, and all of his nutrition and all the things, cannabis, marijuana ain't in that package for TB12, so if you want to play at a high level, you need to get off the weed. And then Will Power. What a great name in the world of sports. Probably not as good as Dick Trickle in NASCAR, but it's up there.
Yeah, good guy, good guy. And I interviewed Will Power. I interviewed Johnny Football, and I interviewed George Raveling multiple times.
Cool.
So, yeah, George was just class beyond class.
Right on.
What a special man. I'm with apologies in front because I know there's people don't always agree with what I have to say. My new signature coming on will be I got money. Johnny Football. All right, it's time for Fans Forum. Who wants to join us? Because we're going lots of different directions. We're going to bust as many from you about the NFL, about Major League Baseball, any topic on the table. Fans Forum chat box is open. This podcast is brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers, 9 locations to serve you in Southern California. You got projects, they got materials. You want ideas, they can be your consultant. Just go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things they have to offer. John, I'm ready. I think the football fans probably are ready too. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, let's go to our friend Matt. He wants to talk basketball because it's wild looking back at NBA free agency 2019. Lakers and Clips both mortgaged futures. Lakers got AD a championship and Luka from it. The Clippers gave away an MVP and are looking down the barrel of losing more draft picks.
Yeah, he's talking about obviously the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander trade. Again, Paul George came as a byproduct there. You know, the Clippers, to a degree, are a little bit cursed. I mean, twice they've built this thing to be really good, and twice it's been eroded and derailed because of injuries, to Blake Griffin, first of all, that knocked him out the first time, and then obviously what happened to Paul George and Kawhi Leonard's continued health problems. So, yeah, one made it work, the other didn't. Now, the difference is the Clippers have draft picks in their pocket, and at this point, we can't say that the NBA is going to strip them of anything as it relates to Kawhi Leonard. This investigation has just begun, but the Lakers have no draft picks. The Lakers have no future once you get beyond Luka. Now, if LeBron retires after this year, then they're going to have a bunch of cap space to use, but they got nothing on the roster outside of the 2.5 stars they have right now. So we'll see where it goes.
It's interesting because, yeah, back 2019, 6 years ago, and then they did kind of sell. They both went all out for these players. Mm-hmm. But, I think about the Clippers, and you're right, they're cursed. There was a write-up in Sports Illustrated in the late 80s about the Clippers curse then. That was like, I think when, who was the kid that played ball at Oklahoma State and got drafted? Kind of a red-haired guy, big man down low. Anyways, he blew out his knee like right after he got drafted, and they went back, Sports Illustrated, and documented the curse of the Clippers in LA, San Diego, even the Buffalo Braves. But I think if right now they've got good ownership. I mean, Steve Ballmer seems like he's trying. Yep. He's making reasonably good decisions, but the curse is still there.
Well, the curse was all a byproduct of ownership, aka Donald Sterling.
Yeah.
And that went on from the minute the Buffalo Braves moved to San Diego, became the Clippers, and he bought them. And that all things San Diego Clippers became LA Clippers, and then he was forced out by the NBA. I'd have a hard time believing that Steve Ballmer is guilty of any wrongdoing in this case. I just know so much about the man.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
And what he has done, not just from a basketball perspective, but from a corporate business perspective. So we'll see where the story goes. I think there's other people in Kawhi Leonard's circle are the ones that have the dirty hands in this situation. Matt, thanks for being with us. Next one.
Okay. I mean, Casey loaded us up with every one of his NFL picks, every division. Let's just go to one of them here. And Casey says, NFC West, number 1, my Rams. Second, 49ers, tie for last with the Seahawks and Cardinals.
So he's got the 49ers finishing last.
Well, tied for last.
Well, I concur with you.
He's a Rams fan right there.
I mean, Seattle's got the question mark with Sam Darnold. Now, Arizona's good. Are they complete? I don't know, but they've added players every year. The John Gannon's been there, and they do play good defense. And I just don't see how the 49ers are going to hold up. They're so woefully short because they lost so many players in free agency, and they've had a miserable siege of injuries in camp. I mean, you can argue, yeah, they got Brock Purdy and they got Christian McCaffrey and they got Pearsall, the young wide receiver, but they don't have much beyond that. So I think it's going to be a really tough season, Casey, in the NFC West.
Yeah, I mean, he's spoken like a Rams fan, My Rams at 1, everyone else at the bottom. That's what that is right there. And as long we're talking predictions, let's get Casey's AFC West. He's got the Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders. That was your order too.
That's right. People be calling you and saying, what the hell's wrong with you, Casey? Hey, thanks for joining us, Sarah. Hope you've enjoyed our NFL preview. John, we move on.
Okay, this is a funny one. Let's go to Douglas. He goes, you and John Bolton look a lot alike.
You talking about you?
No, you.
Well, we're both bleeping brilliant. He in the political world, me in the sports venue. That's a compliment. I take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. You want to blow up Iraq or something?
Well, I'll wind up on CNN.
There you will. Okay, let's keep on trucking, and let's go to John. He goes, are there still Chargers fans in San Diego? I thought that anyone wearing a Chargers jersey received it as a donation to the homeless.
Oh, just piling on, aren't you? You know, it is interesting. I run across people who say they do still follow the Chargers. I catch some flack on my website. You know, I have an email address on my website you can reach me through. And people say, you know, I still follow the Chargers and they were here and they were my team and I'm going to continue to be my team. That's fine. I can't be a fan of anything as it relates to the Spanos family, but I am a fan of the coaching staff and a fan of obviously Justin Herbert and some of the really quality people that have played there. But it's intriguing. I don't know how to gauge. Are you a Charger fan? I run mini polls on X, you know, and everybody participates in mini polls. So screw them. I'm not following them. I may follow the NFL. I'll follow the game of the week, but I'm not following the Chargers. So I don't know how many Charger fans are actually here that really heart and soul are still involved with the team.
Well, you know, when we were talking about them coming down to USD to do some of those games, and you were questioning, you know, is this Dean Spanos trying to cozy back up with San Diego? And you said, who in the hell in San Diego is still a Charger fan? And the fans, some of these hardcore Charger fans, they were all over you. They're saying, what are you talking about? We see people flying to away games for the Chargers from San Diego. And they'll fly to, you know, to the New York Jets and the Bengals and everywhere else where the Chargers are playing. And so they say there's still a lot of fans here in San Diego. I don't know. They're kind of like underground or something.
The TV ratings, the Chargers used to get a 31 share on TV when they were here in San Diego. Mm-hmm. They get about a 14 to 15 share for Charger games on TV now, which is 50%. That's not very good. You know, part of me says, well, Charger fans could still watch the games. Maybe they watch because they love the team. Maybe they watch because they hate the team and want to see them get their brains blown out. But they could still watch. But it's only 14 share, which is minuscule compared to what they used to have here. But
that's probably a little bit more than, you know, a Vikings-Bears game in San Diego, right? Mm-hmm. It's got to be. You know, I find myself kind of getting sucked back in, you know, especially doing the podcast with you. And so
blame me.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We were talking about all the NFL because after the Chargers moved, my interest in the NFL really waned. But now I find myself kind of getting drawn in, but then I still enjoy it when everything goes to hell in a handbasket in the final 2 minutes of the game. That's still with them.
Truth. This is truth. I was here with John. It was a Thursday night game 2 years ago when the Raiders beat the Chargers 63-21.
Oh, my God.
And it was 63-7 at one point in the fourth quarter.
That was a takedown.
And John's going.
Yeah, I was.
Now, that was the Raider in him coming.
That was. It's probably more the Raider than the Charger hater, but yeah.
It was unbelievable. And that's where I said, I got to write a column about this. And that's where I wrote the column that night on my website. Open memo to the Chargers. I expect your resignation on my desk by 9:30 tomorrow morning. They fired the coaching staff and the general manager at 9 a.m.
Yeah. Was that that was the previous coach, right? Or
Brandon Staley.
And they
took out Tom Telesco at the same time. But they didn't take out the president of football operations.
Well, of course not.
John, thanks, Dad, for the job. Spanos.
And AG and all those guys. Yeah. Anyways, let's keep moving here. And Michael's got a quick one. San Diego, what do you want to talk about?
No, the correct phrase is get off your ass and get on your phone.
Now, when you're walking around town running into people on the street, you probably get a lot of the hacksaw shtick back at you.
All the time.
What are the big ones that I mean, it's always touchdown San Diego, right?
No, not so much that. Pushing a shopping cart through Vaughn's, and I don't recognize people. People recognize me. And I hear this mumbling, "Show me your lightning bolt." That one, I think that one more than anyone else.
Well, that's one of the all-time classics. It seemed like it was unintentional the way you brought that up.
Came up off the top of my head.
And then it's perfect in so many ways.
I think that was a playoff game here. I'm not sure. It might have been when we beat Miami to go to the AFC Championship game in Pittsburgh, the Super Bowl season.
Oh, yeah. I was at that game.
Yeah,
That was
and we beat
amazing.
them in the mud and the rain, and
Yeah.
Stoyanovich missed the field goal in the muck and all that. And the fans went haywire. And I stood up in the radio booth, and I looked at my broadcast partners, Jim Laslovic and Pat Curran, and I said, "Show me your lightning bolt. Look at these fans." And it wound up on NFL film, so it was really cool.
Yeah. It's funnier than hell because it's like so unintentional, but it's so funny and it fits. It's perfect. Okay, let's keep going here to Callan. Afternoon, gents. Saw this divisional race to end. Feels like a battle of attrition. Dodgers can't win. Padres can't win. Does anybody want to win this damn thing? It's either team going to make it in October.
Well, somebody's going to make it. Here's the question. If they both just continue to slither towards the finish line, what are they going to be like when the playoffs begin? Because you're not playing bad teams in baseball. I mean, if you're asking me to look at the Padre roster and the Dodger roster as it's now constructed, if I'm a Padre fan, I think I'm freaking out. They don't have any starting pitching outside of Nick Pivetta. And there's no way to go get starting pitching. There's nothing you can do to make a deal. The only transaction you could make, John asked me this question 2 weeks ago because the September 1st deadline is come and gone.
Right.
The only thing you can do is deal minor leaguers. You can't deal anybody off the major league roster. But for example, and I don't know why anybody would do this, but you got Luis Campusano, who's a 4A player in El Paso.
Home run king in El Paso.
You could trade Campusano as a minor leaguer to somebody else who's got a minor league pitcher with a hope that maybe that minor league pitcher could come to your major league roster and help you in the final 3.5 weeks of the season. But he's not eligible for your postseason roster now. But who would trade you a good minor league pitcher at this late date? I mean, and who would trade you a good minor league pitcher for Campusano? Because nobody believes Campusano can play in the major leagues right now.
Well, why the hell isn't Randy Vasquez on this roster?
Well, once you're sent down, you got to stay down for 15 days unless there's an injury.
Okay.
And you can play this, put them on a Southwest Airlines flight to El Paso. You can do that, but they have to be there for 15 unless somebody gets hurt.
Okay.
So now the Dodgers have been able to do this with Oklahoma City because they got numbers. They have different guys they can send down and bring back.
Way bigger.
And they've had injuries. The Dodgers keep putting relief pitchers on the DL Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. So, but at this point, there's no way to get pitching. So what scares the hell out of me? You get to postseason, who's going to be your starters you can trust beyond Pivetta? Because I don't see anybody there.
You just got to hope that Darvish figures it out, that King figures it out, that Cease figures it out. And that's asking a lot.
Hell is.
Yeah.
And in terms of the Dodgers, gold standard starting pitching. Now, they're all going to hit. I don't know. They have hit in the past, not hitting consistently now. Can't trust anybody in the bullpen.
Well, I would imagine some of those starters would be bullpen pieces, right? I mean, in the playoffs, you're only going to have, especially in the first couple of rounds, 3 starters, right? So, maybe someone like M. Sheehan, is going to be a reliever. Maybe even, you couldn't really use Ohtani as a reliever because he has to bat and all the, substitution rules, but someone else is going to be a reliever.
They both got problems. Holy cow, they got 3.5 weeks. I just know how the Padres are going to sort this out. That's the one that really alarms me. They have no pitching right now. And it spins back to what happened on the night of the trade deadline, because we talked about it right out of the gate, that next podcast. You traded 2 starting pitchers out of your wafer-thin rotation, trading Kolek and Burgert.
Yeah.
And you got Fermin. And I know everybody was excited. Fermin played well for a chunk. But you have no starting pitching now. And now you got 3 catchers because they just re-signed Maldonado.
Well, Maldonado is going to be down here with Chihuahuas, right?
For the time being.
Yeah. I mean, he's just like, just
insurance
in case.
Policy.
Yeah. But, Burgert was surprisingly good. I think he was a high draft pick a few years ago.
2.47 ERA.
Yeah.
4 or 5 innings to start.
And then Kolek was the guy that was the project, kind of Rule 5, so house money for A.J. Preller.
It worked out.
But when they make, it's amazing, is every time they make these deals, at the time of the deal, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I kind of get that. We really desperately needed a catcher. You have house money with Kolek. Burgert probably playing a little better than you thought. And you figured Cease and King and Darvish were all going to figure it out. So let's go for it. And then, then the whole thing blows up in their face again.
They got problems. Callum, great to have you on board, man. Thanks for being with us.
Okay, let's go here to Michael. Because I'm not happy with the players on the Padres. Overpaid losers. Time to boycott. Not watch. Not go to games. We could show the team we're not happy.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen. But if they get into a downward cycle, I mean, if they don't go deep in postseason, the window's closing. I mean, I said they had to be in the World Series last year, this year, or maybe next year, and that's it. So this window's starting to close fast. And you have a lot of age, a.k.a. Yu Darvish. You have a lot of injury, a.k.a. Joe Musgrove. You have virtually nothing in the farm system left at the major league level to bring up. So it has to be right now. And boy, based on what we've seen, I mean, you lose 8 of 10 games to bad teams. They're not hitting on all cylinders right now. I'd really be concerned.
Did you see the attendance at the Wednesday day game for the Orioles?
Well, one was 35,000, one was 32, I believe.
But it looked like it was really empty. I mean, someone made a comment on X. They say this is the emptiest I've ever seen Gallagher Square all season. And you see it like, a couple of beach blankets on the hill, and that's it.
Well, it's a day game and school's back in.
But there's been some day games where people show up.
It's in the summer, though. Vacations, kids.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about it. There's probably some no-shows on an afternoon game that are season ticket holders, et cetera. And this town has really supported it. I mean, it's going to probably draw close to 3.4 million this season, which is amazing. That'd be third year in a row they busted the all-time single-season record.
Padre fans deserve something,
It's called the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, there were moments this season where I was convinced that maybe this is the magical year, everything's going to work, and then 3 games later, I think they're doomed. It's just an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, it really has. And right now, it's very, to me, it's very alarming what's happened to the pitching staff. Mike, thanks for being with us.
Okay, let's go here to Gary. Gary goes, I have a question, but you cover it all. The Chargers are going to face a stadium full of rabid Chief fans in Brazil and will lose as usual. Don't worry about being a Charger hater, Lee. Wear it proud. We have a lot of company. I'm with Coach John Quintera. I hope the Chargers go 0-17.
Well, that's what I said. I hope Justin Herbert goes 17-0 and Dean Spanos goes 0-17. I got people on social media that just say it's terrible that I feel that way. Well, I felt it. I experienced the highs and the lows and the way everybody in our community was treated. So I have a right to my opinion, just like you have a right to your opinion. I think the thing that really stuns me, and you can tell me I'm wrong, I know I'm not. Dean Spanos gave up a home game at SoFi Stadium, a home game against the bitter rival Kansas City Chiefs. Home field advantage to go to Brazil. Why the hell would you do that? I would have told the league, no, I don't want to play in Brazil and forfeit a home game against them. You want to send me? I'll give you my home game with Indianapolis or Jacksonville or whomever. You gave up home game against the elite team in your division you have to beat.
Well, Roger Goodell, I'm sure, is slipping him some money. He's got to. I mean, especially when the Chargers play the Chiefs in Brazil. I mean, the Chiefs are going to be the dominant fan base there because they're the winner.
The dominant team globally, right?
And you got, you got Kelsey and Mahomes and that whole thing.
No, you got Travis Kelsey
Swift. I wonder if Taylor Swift's going to go to Brazil. Probably not. But
the next announcement will come. Taylor Swift, halftime Super Bowl show.
I saw, but just a weird one is, you ever remember the rock band Foreigner?
Yeah,
from the 70s. And they've got all new guys right now. But anyways, they sent a note to Travis Kelsey on X and says, we are offering ourselves to be your wedding band. I think that was pretty funny. But I agree. I think giving up a home game he's got to pay, what's his name? The Kroenke, rent to be in that stadium at SoFi. There's no way they're going to give up revenue. So Goodell has got to be taking care of Spanos.
Are you offended? Or are there Charger fans out there? Can you believe that Spanos gave up a home game against Kansas City to go to Brazil? Am I right? Am I right? Or is he wrong? Let's talk about that. Fans Forum chat box is still open. Jump on board, put an asterisk, say Charger response. Go ahead. Next one, John.
Okay. Gary has another quick follow-up. He goes, hey, we may be on different street corners politically, but we can unite together in our hatred for the Chargers. Boo.
But I'm a big Justin Herbert fan. I know there's counseling I can get for that. Maybe there's some medication about liking the quarterback and disliking the owner. I love the NFL. I love game night. Game day is so exciting, and I lived it from within. It is just so cool. This is going to be a great game on Friday. There are so many great storylines. Quarterback versus quarterback, quarterback versus defense, quarterback versus defensive coordinator, Mahomes versus pass rush, new pieces, Charger defense versus all things Kansas City has coming off the line of scrimmage. John watches the game with me, and he can't communicate with me while I'm watching the game.
Well, you're charting the game.
I'm charting all kinds of stuff.
Keeping track of it. But there was a game in Brazil, was it last year or the year before? And wasn't it Chargers Chiefs or was something like that, wasn't it?
No, I don't. Chargers, I don't think have been in Brazil. I think there was one other game, but it wasn't the Bulls.
Okay. But yeah, we're different corners politically, but we unite for our hatred of the Chargers.
We move on.
Let's go to John. What's the deal with the Dodgers? They don't even look like they want it.
They're lost. I asked the question, where's the leadership? Dave Roberts has not lost his mind yet in a post-game press conference, but it sounds like he's right on the brink of losing his mind. When he starts using phrases like focus and intensity, that's kind of an indictment of his players. Where's the leadership of the Dodger players? Where's the personality there? I'm not sure who it should be. I mean, Muncy's a good player and a veteran player, but Muncy's not loud. Freddie Freeman is as stoic as can be. Mookie is introverted, but Mookie's a great player. Ohtani is a superstar, but he's not vibrant. Where's the leadership of Dodger baseball in terms of a guy picking up the flag and say, follow me, guys? I don't see it. Do you?
Well, Dave Roberts has been talking about that throughout the season, and his guys just don't seem to respond. Mm-hmm. So that's why I have a sense that the players just aren't as focused on wanting to win the division. They just obviously they want to enjoy their fame and fortune. They want to do well in the playoffs. But, they figured, hey, we're comfortable. We're going to get to the dance. No big deal. That's my sense coming from the players, both Dodgers and Padres.
Not going 4-11 against last place teams in baseball.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a good way to do business.
All right, John, we'll see where this goes. Boy, it's going to be interesting.
Okay. And Michael here solved my brain lock. It was Blake Griffin.
Right. With Oklahoma State.
Yeah. That was the
Clipper. No, Oklahoma.
It was one of the two.
He was a Sooner, I think.
Yeah. And he
was a cornerstone. He was supposed to be there with CP3 and Chris Paul.
But he blew out his knee early, right?
He had all kinds of injury problems.
Yeah.
He retired early. He wound up getting traded a couple times.
You could add Danny Manning to that list.
Oh, sure.
I mean, all these Clippers that had just gone down in a heap of broken knees. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to Lenny. He goes, fire AJ?
I don't think that's possible at this point. Yeah, they gave him a contract extension, I think runs through 27. He worked the deals that he wanted to work. He creatively financed the deals by getting other people to pay a piece of the salary. But the cost was he traded the whole farm system away again for the fourth time in 11 years. I don't think his job is in jeopardy if this fails. But where are we going? That's the problem, is you stockpile all this talent, you trade everybody, his currency is his farm system, you trade him away again. We're going to wake up a year or two from now and everybody's going to be 34, 35 and older with contracts that stretch into age 40 to 42. And you got no farm system. So, I mean, what do you have here? You have this window to do it, and the window seems to be closing. And all of a sudden, bingo, your team is old and you have nobody to replace them. And then you're like that.
I would think that the Padre leadership seems to, be aligned with AJ. Peter Seidler was for sure. Mm-hmm. And I know, Grupner, I guess I've heard, and Preller may not necessarily see eye to eye, but Preller is working within the boundaries that he's given. Mm-hmm. And I'm convinced that Mike D was chirping in his ear to, trade for Kemp or, do all those big splashy moves when AJ Preller got hired. So I don't know. My sense is Preller is constricted in a box of what he can spend, but he's very creative.
Yeah, but he spent the future again.
But he keeps restocking again. Look at this new shortstop we got, with the flurry of deals at the trade deadline. Looks like someone that might be able to fill in for DeVries.
You're talking about Will Wagner.
No, not Will Wagner. It's some other guys like Jose Quijada or something like that.
But that's
down the road. But it's still, he's always replenishing. And I think that's good.
Okay, I don't think he's in trouble at this point in time, but damn, they got to go deep into October. There has to be a World Series appearance somewhere here with this collective group. Otherwise, this has been all for naught. Okay, we move on.
Okay, here's a 1-2 punch from our friend Aztec Mike. He goes, Padres bandwagon crashing and burning? No, really. And Hacksaw makes excuses for the fans. Epic.
I'm not sure that I'm making excuses for the fans. I'm sitting there and pinpointing the shortcomings of the team and how the front office has done their business. What's an excuse for the fans? What are you talking about?
Well, here's his number 2 punch. And he says, 82 people watching now. I guess trashing the San Diego State Aztec fans and team is not helping you.
I don't know what your beef is. I cover it the way it should be covered. I support it. I go to the press conferences. I'm at the game. So if you don't like it, you don't like it. But I'm talking about it, and I'll continue to talk about it. And by the way, I've written some really positive things about Sean Lewis. So,
well, yeah, you cover the Aztecs far more than
anybody.
Yeah, like 99% of the media here in town. And by the way, our viewership numbers on the live stream are a tiny percentage of the total amount of views and hours spent when you add up everything. You know, when you add up all the segments we do, and most people don't watch it when it's live, and people kind of come and go. And by the way, we're live streaming on 3 different platforms right now. And so what you're looking at is only 1/3 of the bigger picture. So yeah. Anyways, we cover Aztecs pretty good, Aztec Mike. I think you gotta be honest there.
What I guess my only bounce back would be, you don't like it? Why are you watching it on a consistent basis if you don't like it? Proves my point. We're pretty damn good at what we do. Thank you, Mike.
Aztec Mike is something. He private or direct messages me on Facebook. He's a good guy. He's very passionate about the Aztecs. Okay, let's go to social media. And Charger fan here from Dub McBogey. He goes, I was here for the Chargers before the Spanos family and before Hacksaw. Hey, Mo, bitter and resentful is no way to go through life.
Just calling it the way it is. And I'm in the majority with virtually everybody about this. If you're sitting there, McBogey, with the opinion, you agree with Spanos for yanking the franchise out of here after 55 years of loyalty, I totally disagree with you. You might be the only guy standing on a street corner by yourself that he had a right to leave, because what he did to the community is terrible. Am I wrong? No, I'm right.
Well, he has a right to leave. He has a right to move his franchise wherever he can, provided the owners all agree with him. But yeah, he screwed San Diego. And the whole stadium thing was a dog and pony show. He didn't want the stadium in Mission Valley. He was just going through the motions, knowing that it was going to fail in San Diego. He's going to go to LA. He's going to try to make it fail in San Diego. So he says, see, I can go to LA. Yeah, but he was able to say, see, I tried to go to the city, you know, and then he blames the politicians, although there were some dirty hands there too. But I guess McBogey is one of the few Charger fans that's still in San Diego. You can be a Charger fan in San Diego, no problem, but don't tell me I should not present the facts the way they are and the truth and have an opinion that we should never, ever forgive Spanos. And I got along with Dean for a long time until he did what he did to all 55 years of loyalty here. He could have been revered in this community by keeping the franchise here and help funding the stadium, and forever he's elected to be reviled. I don't know many people that are willing to forgive him. You are? You do what you want. Enjoy yourself in Los Angeles. We move on. Well, Baltimore fans are probably still pissed at Modell, right? No, not at Modell. Cleveland fans would be pissed at Modell. Baltimore fans were pissed at Irsay, but then Modell, excuse me, Modell then moved the Cleveland Browns to Baltimore. Okay, I'm getting them all mixed up. But Raider fan still loves Al Davis, Mark Davis, no matter where they play. And that's hard to explain because that's been a franchise of failure for decades upon decades. Yeah. I mean, you can go to the back of your closet, and I know you have the old, dusty, dented Super Bowl trophy in the back of your closet, but my God, that was a lot of third downs ago. That was Jim Plunkett. Oh, Ken Stabler back in the day. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Angels talk here from Teamer. He goes, as an Angels fan, what I hate about this the most is that Tyler Skaggs was a drug user, and it seems like everyone has forgotten about that and are using scapegoats, so that draws away the attention that he was a junkie. And if it wasn't Eric Kay giving him the drugs, then Skaggs would find someone else to give him the drugs. And that's a distinct possibility that in the course of discovery, there may be some other evidence that's going to show up about who else was supplying Tyler Skaggs.
It's a horrific tragedy, but he was hooked. He was hooked for a long period of time. He was hooked when he was an Arizona Diamondback. That hasn't come out yet, but that's going to come out probably in this trial. At the end of the day, the Skaggs family is suing Artie Moreno and the Angels, saying you should have known that Eric Kay was a drug peddler. Well, they knew that Eric Kay had a drug problem. They got Eric Kay into drug treatment programs, but Eric Kay checked himself out. They continued to employ him to try to help him to stay sober, and it didn't work. And then obviously that he was providing all types of amphetamines and everything else to a whole bunch of players aside from Skaggs, and he provided Skaggs with a fentanyl that led to his death. But you're correct. I mean, your assessment is Skaggs has as much to blame here. So I have a tough time criticizing the widow and the kids and the family left behind because they're victims. But Tyler Skaggs, he bears a huge chunk of blame for the addiction that took his life.
Well, this is like broader than sports, because so many times people make terrible decisions in their life, but it's always someone else's fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's never personal responsibility. And so, yeah, I mean, you got to put the primary on Skaggs and all these ancillary people that were, encouraging him or sneaking him the stuff. They bear responsibility too, but it's primarily on Skaggs.
Well, he couldn't kick it. It's an addiction.
Yeah.
Some people never, ever kick.
Now, what was the drug? What was
fentanyl?
It was fentanyl. Even back then, before fentanyl was a big thing.
He was taking pills laced with fentanyl that Eric Kay bought.
Yeah, and you got some, dude in his garage cutting that, and you don't know what the hell's in that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a horrid story. The trial begins September 22nd, so we'll keep tabs on it on this podcast. Let's do a couple more here before we run out of time.
Okay, let's talk some Dodgers here. This is with the Atomic Punks, probably a Van Halen fan. He goes, hey, don't forget the BS you all and shows like yours were crying about the Dodgers for ruining baseball.
Well, I'm not sure that I cried. I mean, they have the money to spend. There is a luxury tax, which is really prohibitive at their level. The Dodgers payroll is $383. Dodgers luxury tax bill October 1st is $151 million. That's amazing. But I wasn't crying. I call them the evil umpire because I thought that's kind of an interesting name to steal from what the Yankees were doing when the Yankees were winning. But no, Dodgers are a great organization. Now, this must be Padre fan really bitter at me, but that's
no. I think he's a Dodger fan.
Oh,
yeah.
So at the end of the day, the Dodgers are a great organization. And the Dodgers have the resources, being where they are, the number 2 market in the country, and they draw $4 million per year every year, and it's a tradition. So the bad mojo is the chemistry on the team right now is not right. There's just something really strange going on there.
It's funny is they're saying that the Dodgers are ruining baseball, and there were a lot of people saying that.
Mm-hmm.
And how does Ohtani get the deferred money? And they're working outside the rules, but. It's funny, though, even for Padres, when people were commenting on the Padres and the things that Peter Seidler was doing, they were saying that was bad for baseball.
They were saying you can't sustain it. And Peter Seidler said, will you let me worry about my money as to whether it's sustainable?
But they're proving that they can sustain it. I mean, they have limits, but they're making it work. But I know the Atomic Punks, by the way, I love that. I love the
is that on your driver's license?
No, but it's a Van Halen song, I think, from their first album. So that's a great name. So definitely Van Halen LA, that all works.
Hey, you're invited to stay with us every podcast. Wave your Dodger pennant if you wish. That's cool.
Okay. Now this is an interesting one here. And this is from Raymundo. And he goes, Padres need to get a slugger, 35 to 45 home runs. They only have nickel and dime hitters. Tatis mysteriously is lacking in power after his suspension. Strange.
Well, I don't know if that's the case. I think Tatis has got an oblique injury, and I think that's changed everything. Machado is a huge mystery to me for somebody that everybody says instant Hall of Famer. Dude's hitting, get this, since August 1st, he's hitting 218.
He was carrying the team.
For a while.
Yeah.
He's hitting 218. He's had 2 home runs since the 25th. So it's a grind of a season, etc. But you are correct. They're missing something. I mean, thank God there's Gavin Sheets, and Hearns hit some home runs, and Laureano's popped a few along the way. But over a sustained 162-game schedule, if they could find a bopper, yeah, that would really help.
When we got this comment, I went back and looked it up. So Tatis had 7 home runs in April.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got hit on the arm,
Yep.
And that was on May 2nd.
It was a forearm. Yep.
Yeah, and that was a Pirates game, I think. And he hit 5 in May. So 7. Imagine if he hit 7 every month. 7 times 6 is 42 home runs. We hit 7 in April, 5 in May, 2 in June, 2 in July, 1 in August. And that, and then meanwhile, at the beginning of April, his buddy, Jurickson Profar, gets busted for PEDs, and then he's out of baseball for 3 months. And so it looks a little suspicious. Like, when his buddy got, taken down, maybe Tatis, again, conspiracy theory, sort of weaned off the juice.
No, those guys get drug tested all the time. They get tested 10 times a year, spontaneous.
Well, then maybe if he hit 5 home runs in May, then it must not have been the injury to his arm, because that happened on May 2nd. So, yeah.
But then he got hit on the wrist, and then he admitted he's had no bleed problem.
But dude, there's like no power, We used to see like huge exit velocity, and it's just not there the way it used to be.
Okay. We'll see where it goes. We got 3.5 more weeks of baseball to go. One more. Okay. And this is a good one. Talk a little Aztecs and UCLA. This is from AJ. He goes, it's not San Diego State or UCLA's fault, but Gavin Newsom's. I see more San Diego State and UCLA apparel in Boise than I ever did living in San Diego or LA. Everyone's left and everyone's moving to SoCal. SoCal has no connection to the schools. Padres have capitalized on a rebrand, flashy players, top 5 stadium, and carne asada nachos and craft beer. But if you win, they will come, and those with no real connection to either school. Remember, Padres baseball, national brand, history. It's a lot there. Everybody's a baseball fan because they come from somewhere else that moved here, and they have this emotional tie to the Red Sox and the Cubs or the Indians or whomever. San Diego State, though, has got 150,000 alums that live here. Aztecs for life, so they call themselves, but they don't buy tickets to go see the football game, and that's terrible. I don't think it's got much to do with the governor, although I'm tired of paying taxes on top of my taxes on top of my taxes.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting taxed to death here in the state of California. So San Diego State's just miscast in football, not been in a sexy conference, not going to a sexy conference. Thank God for Brian Dutcher, Steve Fisher have made basketball a national brand to give us something to wrap our arms about. It's a tough haul. And now UCLA is the same thing. There's a story in the LA Times today about UCLA padding all their football attendance figures, and they were announcing 37,000 when they had 22. And they're announcing 27 when they had a home crowd of 12.
Well, they're probably counting all the student tickets that they were supposed to give away but maybe didn't give them away. But there's so many factors involved in this because, there are more people leaving California to the other 49 states than the other 49 states coming to California. That's true. It's been that way for 10 plus years. But, you've had the breakup of all the conferences. The Pac-12 lost its luster. The Mountain West, sort of this, junior conference. Then you have the NIL and the transfer portal, everything going sideways. You got these new coaches coming in, so everything is being flipped on its head. And to say nothing of the whole COVID thing where fans were sidelined. It's like we kind of woke up 6-7 years later and like, okay, we got to hit the reset button and figure out who we're rooting for.
It's chaos.
It is chaos.
Really chaos. And we hope you've enjoyed the chaos here today. Man, we've gone a lot of different directions on this podcast. Opening night, National Football League. Opening weekend, NFL season. Heading towards the pennant race weekend ahead of us, college football. We'll be back here Monday at 1:30. Monday bonus podcast. I hope you'll be with us. Podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. Have yourself a great sports weekend. You are now allowed to go sit out in your driveway where it's 103 degrees outside right now.
I can't believe it's like the NFL is starting already.
Yay.
Yeah, well, yay. But I mean, it just felt like we were just starting the summer and now we're about to get into football weather.
You enjoy your great sports weekend. We will. Thanks for being part of this podcast. Thanks for being with us on Hacksaw's Headlines.
Join us again for Hacksaw's Headlines on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And find the audio version on your favorite podcast app. For more content, go to LeeHacksawHamilton.com.